Hey, Michael Church, Crawl Space Ninja. Today we're going to talk about dirty sock syndrome. What is it? Is it harmful? What do you do if you have it? How do you prevent it? Stay tuned. If you're new to Crawl Space Ninja, we talk about everything related to indoor air quality, mold, and even crawl space encapsulation. We hope you'll subscribe to our channel, ring that notifications bell, follow us on Facebook. Make sure you check out our franchise opportunities and our DIY store. Okay, so let's talk about what is dirty sock syndrome. Basically, dirty sock syndrome is the term or phrase given to whenever you turn on your AC unit, it literally smells like dirty socks, okay? Now, typically, the smell could be a little bit of a musty smell or different things like that because, in my opinion, smells are in the nose of the beholder. So I may smell something that smells completely different or even good to me, and you may smell it and you think it smells bad. So the term comes from dirty sock syndrome, means that it literally smells like dirty socks. So how does that smell get into the HVAC system? So dirty sock syndrome is when biological material, mold, bacteria builds up on the AC evaporator coil and grows typically uncontrollably, okay? So if you've ever experienced dirty sock syndrome, what it is it's a warning sign that there's something growing on your HVAC coils. Remember, those coils get very wet, especially in the summertime when you're running your AC. And then, wet coils attract dust. That dust and moisture then can grow mold and bacteria, which gives off odor. So if you're smelling that smell, it's just an indication that you have dirty, wet coils in your AC system. Now, dirty sock syndrome is not considered to be harmful, but what I would caution you on is that since it is an indication of a mold or bacteria problem, if you have a compromised immune system, exposing your air to spores of mold and bacteria could be harmful, right? So granted, it's not going to possibly kill you or anything if you breathe in that dirty sock air that's coming out of your HVAC register, but it, just like a musty smell in a crawl space, it is an indication of a problem that needs to be addressed. So I would not recommend that you let the problem persist for very long. You need to take care of it and get it addressed, or you could have a buildup of mold spores and bacteria inside the air, inside the ductwork, which may be harder to address later, that could be affecting your indoor air quality. And of course, even though it may not be considered harmful, it is extremely annoying, right? Every time you turn on your AC unit, or if you switch from the AC to the heat, a lot of times that's one of those times in your house where you will smell that pungent odor that comes out. So if it's not harmful, at the very least, it's annoying and it smells. Nobody wants any of their home smelling like dirty socks. So now I'm going to share with you some ways to prevent dirty sock syndrome. So some ways to prevent dirty sock syndrome are: make sure that your HVAC unit is maintained on a regular basis. Now, depending on your HVAC contractor, they may recommend an annual or a semi-annual maintenance routine. I typically go for the semi-annual maintenance routine. That way they can clean the coils and check the fan motors and all that stuff right when the seasons change, whenever you're switching from heat to cold or from cold to heat. Those are my recommendations and what I personally do at my home, but even an annual maintenance is more than most people do. So make sure you get your AC maintenance on a regular basis. Make sure you change that filter out on a regular basis. I've done quite a few videos about filtration and purification and different things like that. I even talk about how to make your filter more efficient and capture more dust. You can tape the edge of the filter with some blue painter's tape to prevent bypass, so that way more particles are being captured by the filter. Another recommendation, especially by the HVAC industry, is that you put a UV light on the coils of the HVAC unit to prevent those coils from growing mold and bacteria. My only caution on that is that a lot of HVAC contractors that I have seen over the years have not put the light directly shining on the coil. As a matter of fact, I had a UV light installed in my house, and they put it shining on the back of the filter that was in my hallway. It was actually in the hallway of the ceiling, And so every time that UV light turned on, my hallway glowed blue. So it wasn't really doing anything for the coils. It was shining potential blue UV light in my hallway. So I, of course, disconnected it and was very upset with how they installed it and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, you got to make sure that if you're going to install those UV lights, that to fight dirty sock syndrome, it needs to be installed shining directly on the coils, okay? So that would be another way to prevent. And of course, if you are dealing with odors or different things inside the house, you could get your ducts cleaned, or perhaps control humidity in the house, because high humidity can be an issue because those coils are getting more moisture that they're pulling out of the air, and getting the ducts clean could take care of that dirty sock syndrome as well. Okay, so getting rid of dirty sock syndrome basically is the same as preventing it, okay? Now, if you have a real major case of dirty sock syndrome, you may want to consider applying a disinfectant inside of your HVAC system or something like that if you've got any bacteria or mold buildup, because keep in mind that if the coils have been growing mold or bacteria and distributing that through your vents, then there's a good chance the inside of the ductwork could have mold and bacteria built up inside of there as well. So if you're going to combat dirty sock syndrome, then you know that heating and air duct cleaning company should be able to apply a disinfectant inside of there to take care of that as well. And I just wanted to say that according to a lot of the HVAC websites that I looked at in preparation for this video, many of them said that dirty sock syndrome primarily happens in your milder climates, okay? They say that those of you in Minneapolis or in Wisconsin or different places like that where your temperatures are extreme, whenever you turn on the heat, that heat can kill whatever's causing dirty sock syndrome. And I want to find out if that's true. Are you living in a really cold climate and still experiencing dirty sock syndrome, or is that something more of us down here in the South are experiencing? So make sure you comment below if you have had dirty sock syndrome. What have you done to combat it? What worked? What didn't work? We'd really like to know, and be sure to put that in the comments down below. And I'm Michael Church with Crawl Space Ninja. We hope you make it a happy and blessed day, and we'll see you later.